Do you remember back when Disney was going to quiet the noise and calm things down, and we got to see a little bit of that, and some executive producers and some others that were kind of pushed out of Marvel specifically? I remember that, but they were supposed to, kind of clean it up, and yet here we are again. After the what's sure to fail Captain America, Brave New World, with its ridiculous budget overspend because of the reshoots that they've had to do, because none of the test scores are very good. And then you have the Thunderbolt, something nobody's ever heard of, and outside of a few cute moments that we saw in the most recent trailer, I can't imagine anybody wanting to see this. It's like the C team of, the Avengers that nobody wants. It's like copy of a copy when it comes to, the squad or something like that. People don't want these kinds of products. And yet, Disney, with its first opportunity to bring in Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, they gender swap the villain that everybody's very familiar with, Silver Surfer. That's right. The female Silver Surfer is real. And it is, as rumored, Julia Garner. And it is going to be an affront to something that I think was spectacularly wonderful. So instead of what Iger said he would do back in April, when an investor asked if Bob Iger would have the company stay out of politics and social agenda, well, he responded as such. Our job is to entertain first and foremost, and by telling great stories, we continue to have a positive impact on the world and inspire future generations, just as we've done for over 100 years. Disney has always been and will continue to be a source of hope, joy, and optimism for people of all ages. We are committed to telling stories that reflect the world around us and using those stories to entertain stories from all walks of life. I believe we have a responsibility to do good in the world. His last part of the statement is telling. But we know our job is not to advance any kind of agenda. So as long as I'm in the job, I'm going to continue to be guided by a sense of decency and respect. And we will always trust our instincts. Bob, your instincts are terrible. And up until very recently, that's been demonstrated in the stock price. It's also been demonstrated in the numerous amounts of flops that your studio has put out there, most of which were greenlit under your guidance. In fact, the only two successes seem to have come when the company had either pivoted or allowed somebody else at the controls. And of course, I'm talking about Deadpool and Wolverine and Inside Out 2. And yet, the title of this video and the thumbnail says it all. You haven't changed one single bit, and I hope it bites you in the box office. Let's jump into the story coming to us from That Park Place from Marvin over there, saying Marvel officially announces Julia Garner as female Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four. First steps. Well, these are baby steps or giant steps backwards in this case, because we're back into the social agenda once more. Now, the rumors are flying in April that Disney was going to cast Julia Garner as Shalabal, a female version of the Silver Surfer. And it's official with the synopsis that has happened. The synopsis itself reads, set against the violent backdrop of a 1960s inspired retro-futuristic world, Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four, First Steps introduces Marvel's first family, going way back in time to inject girl boss mode. You have Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, and there are many more actors that would have done this much better. You have Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby, who I think can probably pull it off. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, is played by Joseph Quinn, which should be interesting. I have low expectations for that. And Eben Moss will be Ben Gribb, or the Thing, depending upon what you would like to call him. Ultimately, they'll be pitted against a god called Galactus, many of us are already familiar with, and his enigmatic herald, the Silver Surfer, with girl boss Julia Garner. There are a lot of other incredible actors and actresses in this particular film, as you can see here, with Paul Walter Hauser, John Malkovich, Natasha Lyonne, and Sarah Niles. You've got Matt Shackman directing, which will give us kind of a taste of a lot of things to come, because once Disney gets married to a director, you oftentimes have that director shoved in your face forever. You've got producer Kevin Feige and Luis de Esposito, Grant Curtis, Tim Lewis, etc., etc. This film is set to be out in July of this coming year, 2025. And as far as I know, they have either completed primary or are very close to completing all of the photography. So when this thing actually wraps, we'll, of course, tell you right here on this channel and the others that I am on, because then the clock starts on how to get all of the CGI that they will absolutely require for this film done and get this thing out for its July midsummer debut. And as Marvin says in the article, despite rumors out of Film Threat that Marvel head Kevin Feige fired a bunch of activist producers and writers earlier this year, well, Marvel seems unwilling to pivot away from gender-swapped heroes and a more female-focused universe. They just don't learn. Now, recall a moment ago when I gave you Bob Iger's statement. Well, soon after he made that statement, Deadline's Justin Kroll reported that Marvel would move ahead with the Shia LaBeouf female version of Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four movie, instead of the classic male Norrin Radd, which everybody's familiar with and probably will be surprised they won't see. The character of Shia LaBeouf appeared first in 1968 Silver Surfer #1. She was Norrin Radd's first love, and he left her on the planet Zenala after making a bargain with Galactus to spare the world, which he did. The character did become a version of the Silver Surfer in Marvel Comics back in 99 and 2000, but her time in the role was very short-lived. Why? It was incredibly unpopular. And guess what? Back in the days where they tried things like this, they took note of it and did it very rarely. Now, they're addicted to it, and it's wrecking their films. To say I'm disappointed would be an understatement. I am frustrated. And I'm telling you that I expect very little from Marvel in the coming months. And now it seems like I expect even less. I will obviously see and rate the film. I'll give it my review, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to do it reluctantly. I'm sick and tired of this stuff coming out of Marvel, and all of the audience seems to agree. We will find out exactly how tired they are when we get to Captain America: Brave New World and Thunderbolts, as I mentioned before. But it looks like we're going to have another carousel of bad ideas coming at us for at least the time being. And I am not overly optimistic that it'll get better anytime soon. We'll see. Hopefully they manage to subvert my expectations, which are basically at the bottom of the sea right now. So that's what I think. So that's my opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments section down below. Do you have high hopes for this Marvel gender swap female girl boss playing Silver Surfer? Or do you feel like maybe it's overplayed and Disney's going to get its comeuppance again? Do you feel any optimism towards Marvel going forward? Or do you think nothing will change until leadership changes over in that studio? And finally, are you just playing off the Marvel train? I actually know a lot of people who've told me they're just done with it. They feel like Endgame was a well overdue end feature. It was the end game, after all, the closing point. And they're just done. You share that sentiment? Let me know those thoughts down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, please double check you're subscribed. If not, please hit that red button. It's simple and it's free and it helps me get to 50K. And I will owe you a big thank you. I'll just say thank you now because I know you're going to hit the thumbs up button, the subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and do all the things. That's what you do. Do all the YouTube things. Then on that note, be sure to take care of yourself. Take care of others. Wash your hands because it's good hygiene. Some of you like to hear that once in a while. And until next time, See ya.